Hello and welcome to episode 24 of Wrestler Spotlight. I'm the Maritime Warrior, today joined by the unofficial Maritime Wrestling co-host, Jason Casey. How's it going?
Going good, you?
Going great. Today we are here to talk about Jason's all-time favorite wrestler, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. What are your early memories of Steamboat?
Early memories for me would have been back when I was like 11 or 12 years old, first starting to watch mainstream wrestling. I was heavily into the early 80s martial arts style movies, The Karate Kid, American Ninja, that kind of stuff, Chuck Norris, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when I started watching wrestling and there was a martial artist, I was like, oh my God, I can really get into this. And as a little kid, it was cool, you know what I mean? Like, it was what my interests were. But as I got older, I realized how good of a wrestler he was.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, yeah, and he just grew on me over time. So he became my favorite, and it stuck with me my whole life.
So, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's career gets started in the AWA. He is trained by Vern Gagne and, weirdly enough, the Iron Sheik. And his early wrestling career, he wrestled under Richard Blood and the very unfortunate name of Dick Blood. He would move on to Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. I believe they traded. He was wrestling somewhere and he got traded for the One Man Gang.
Yeah,
so
I believe
Steamboat. That is a story that Ric Flair, I believe, told. So he goes to the Carolinas and becomes a massive star. He gets the name Ricky Steamboat because apparently he looked like an old wrestler from, I believe, the 50s called Sammy Steamboat. In the Carolinas, he feuded with Ric Flair. I believe that's what put him on the map. From 1977 to 1984, he would win 2 NWA television titles, 3 NWA United States titles, 6 NWA World Tag Team titles, 4 NWA Mid-Atlantic Tag Team titles, and 2 NWA Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight title. Do you have any memories of Ricky Steamboat, even if it's like matches that you've seen after the fact? From his Mid-Atlantic days.
I did, actually. I watched a lot of his stuff after the fact. The tag team stuff with Jay Youngblood.
Yeah.
He had a pretty big feud for a long time with Sergeant Slaughter and Don Kernoodle.
Oh, yeah.
So I used to watch a lot of that stuff. I just loved to me, he was the first high flyer.
Yeah.
So it was fun to watch that kind of stuff, especially like against somebody like Sergeant Slaughter that was more like powerhouse moves, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like Cobra Clutch, and you know what I mean? To see the comparison between the two, it was fun to watch.
Ricky Steamboat, to me, I always think of the matches with Ric Flair. I've always been critical on Ric Flair. He's not my favorite. You know, did the same match for 40 years. But Ricky Steamboat's the type of guy that could have a 5-star match with his own shadow. You know, he could have a match with a broomstick and make it look good. Those matches with Ric Flair, this is pre-Ric Flair winning the world title. There's an angle that they did where Flair rakes Steamboat's face on the cement floor and legitimately, like, scarred his face. Like, he really hurt him. You remember that angle?
I can picture it, but I don't remember the whole scenario, yeah.
Steamboat sort of became this babyface that gets injured, heals up. Like, it was the trend in the 80s, you know? You get beat up, you train, you get stronger, then you come and you beat the big bad guys. Any other memories from Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling?
There was his I can't remember who it was against, but he had the Final Conflict steel cage match in I think it was 83. It was
who was that against?
I can't remember who it was against, but I remember him. Like, for me, I was young at the time, so I can remember like bits and pieces, but I do remember him like doing a dive off the top of the cage, and it was like, oh my god, that's fantastic, that's mind blowing. Because I mean, you really didn't see it much back then. You know what I mean? It was,
Around that same time, it would have been around the same time as Superfly Jimmy Snuka doing it, right?
yeah, right around that era. Yeah.
Um, let's talk about his partner Jay Youngblood for a second. He died really young. Like he was like 30. He's in his early 30s, I believe. Um, but them as a tag team, like they were a big part of that first Starcade. I believe they faced the Briscoes, and they had a pretty big feud with the Briscoes.
Yeah, I think it was. It was cool to watch because it was the different. You didn't see a lot of different. Well, different races. You know what I mean? A
Yep,
lot of it was, you know what I mean? You were either African American or you were Caucasian.
yep,
But it was cool to see an Asian and a Native working in, you know what I mean? Working together and working in the
yep.
business. So yeah, it was fun to watch.
It's also like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is one of those wrestlers that never worked heel. He was a
No,
natural babyface his entire career. And, you know, he was of Asian descent. I believe he was from Hawaii. I believe his mother or his father was Japanese. But usually in that time period, like he started in the mid 70s, they see someone that looks Asian and you're a sneaky Japanese heel.
yeah,
And it wasn't the case with him. He was a beloved babyface his entire time in wrestling. Um, I'm going back to the Ric Flair feud for a second because they feuded over so many titles. I believe they
yeah,
feuded over tag titles as well. I believe when Ric Flair was tag team partners with Greg Valentine, I believe Steamboat and somebody else were feuding with them. So, like, this is like a forever feud that we're going to get to another chapter of it in a few minutes. But before we wind down the Mid Atlantic part, any final thoughts on the Mid Atlantic part?
No, not really. I really enjoyed his storytelling capabilities, his in ring, the way he could sell. I think that a lot of it too is what made the Ric Flair feud so well
Yeah,
because they're really both good at selling. I mean, like you said, we'll get to that in a moment here, but
yeah,
yeah, that that mid '70s, I was still really young at that time, so I watched a lot of that after the fact.
yeah.
I would probably have been about 10 or 11 when I started renting VHS tapes. Well, my aunts and uncles would rent the VH tapes, and then I would watch it after the fact. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was cool.
One thing I remember about Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is his movements in the ring and how fluid he was. Like the chops. The chops probably didn't even touch. But, you know, the
Yeah,
deep arm drags and just the little things that
diving
he do.
crossbodies and
Yeah, the diving crossbody. The arm drag is one that I always loved because it's one of those moves that as a kid you're not supposed to try these wrestling moves. But
but
it's
you
like
do
one of
it
those
anyway.
moves you're gonna try that one.
Yeah,
But he
yeah,
gets so deep into that arm drag, and one thing that he would do is he would clap before doing it.
yeah,
And it's like one of those things where you don't notice it when you're a kid, but it's like warning the opponent, hey, here it comes.
yeah,
Because one bad move and you slip and you break a leg or something like that,
yeah,
like Steamboat was a natural pro. And that's why in 1985, the WWF came calling, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was born. I always remember him with the headband and the black tights.
yeah.
I
Uh,
remember the old LJN figure too. It was the headband and the black tights.
Yeah, I remember a stint there where he had the red headband and the red tights as well. They
Red
had like
tights
a
and white.
white, yeah. Yeah, I used to have the little figurines and stuff when I was a kid. I think I had them all, and some of them came with little nunchucks, and yeah, it was fun.
Really.
Yeah.